Good afternoon, folks. I got up early this morning and sat by my phone and called in to C-SPAN Washington Journal and managed to get on the air and ask a couple of questions, and I taped their video feed so I could post up here what I got through and their disregard for the questions I asked. Here it is.
And in the sense that the people are setting the agenda, and they want to talk about Iraq.
Brooklyn, you're on the air.
Hey, I have a question, a couple of points about things that aren't at all brought up on the campaign trail, specifically about Iraq, dovetailing off what the last caller just said. It seems to me that the American people would be interested to know the kind of capitalization that is going on over there, like the companies that are over there doing business, and if in any way that's hindering the efforts to do what they're claiming to try and do in Iraq in terms of bringing peace, like perhaps Dennis Kucinich talks about in terms of universal health care not providing a place for private insurers. And, if we had the numbers and the numbers of people, I mean, I've heard that there are hundreds of thousands of contractors over there in Iraq right now. And if perhaps we had some awareness of exactly what kind of business they were doing and whether or not that was pissing off the Iraqi people. That
Are you supporting Dennis Kucinich?
No, not specifically, but I think that he's at least honest in his conversation about healthcare and what is possible if we weren't prioritizing the private interest in healthcare. The other question that I have, and the other issue that I don't understand why it's never addressed, are the unanswered questions that still remain about September 11th. And you have John Kerry on TV the other day. Talking about the collapse of Building 7 and saying, it was obviously, the building, they thought it was damaged and that it looked like it was going to come down, and so they put demolitions in to bring the building down. That makes perfect sense and, seems like a reasonable thing to do, except for that's completely antithetical to what we've been told happened.
All right, thanks, caller. Well, let's look at that through a political lens, if we could. Dennis Kucinich, strengths and weaknesses. Rudy Giuliani, 9/11 and the effect on his campaign.
Well, first with Dennis Kucinich, he's making his second run in a row. The problem, and you could say this is actually to Kucinich's credit, is that the party has moved a bit in his direction. So a lot of the candidates are sounding like him, which perhaps dilutes his appeal, although his appeal, to be perfectly frank, wasn't terribly great to begin with. Rudy Giuliani's leadership qualities are at the heart of his presidential bid. And at the heart of one's leadership qualities, presumably, are judgment. The Giuliani campaign believes that his leadership brand is so pervasive and is so ingrained in the hearts of Americans that small challenges, such as whether Giuliani should have put an emergency communications center in the World Trade Center as opposed to some other location, or questions about what happened to workers at Ground Zero after was in the New York Times after the towers came down. They see those as questions to be answered, but they don't believe fundamentally that they will detract from the general quality of leadership. Giuliani's opponents would disagree, and they hope to get at the core of his attractiveness, which is his leadership, by questioning his judgments on these issues.
What kind of impact did his speech on abortion and other social issues have at the Baptist Convention recently?
I'm not sure it had a lot of impact. I mean, the speech, I think, was